Let's look at how to get some great custom colors into your Desmos projects. Stick around until the end. I've got some great free custom colors for you as well. I'm here in the desmos.com/calculator, and we want to start by putting some custom colors in. To put a custom color in, we're just going to define it as a variable. I like to use C with a subscript. So I'm going to do a capital C, and if I just type the number 1 right next to it, it assumes that I want a subscript. And I'm going to say that this is equal to an RGB defined number. Now RGB stands for red, green, and blue, and I'm going to show it to you a couple of different ways. There's so many things that you can do with this. So RGB for red, green, blue. Now I could put the numbers in here, but since I don't know numbers off the top of my head for certain colors, I'm going to do some sliders here. R for red, comma, G for green, comma, B for blue. And let's go ahead and say that we want sliders for all of these. Now Desmos is much smarter than I am. Notice how it automatically gave me sliders for each of these colors ranging from 0 to 255. If I slide the red all the way over to 255, I get red. And then of course, same with the green. So a full 255 is the green there. And a full 255 on B obviously is a blue. But we can combine these colors to come up with some custom shades. So there's a great lavender shade. Now, if I wanted to put this in as a color that was fixed and didn't change, I could call this maybe C2. And I'm going to say equals RGB, and I can put these numbers in 174, 103, 186, and I've got that defined. Before we go and explore some additional colors, let's see how this shows up in our color palette. I like to do this with a circle, so I've got something to shade in. So I'm going to do x squared, so caret followed by that 2, arrow over, and then plus y squared, caret 2, arrow over. I'm going to do this less than or equal to, so I'm shading on the inside. So less than. If I type the equals, it automatically changes that to a less than or equal. So equals, less than or equal to, let's just do less than or equal to 4. Now it automatically gave me this opacity that's a little bit transparent. So that we can see this better, I'm going to get rid of my sliders and that original RGB. Okay, let's go ahead and click and hold on the style circle here. Notice that that fill is at 0.4, but I want to make it at 1 so it's nice and solid, and my custom color shows up right here. Now I could of course change this to be less opaque by doing, say, a 0.5. I really like the 1. Okay, let's put in some more custom colors, but I want to show you an easier way to do this online. Now I happen to have a color picker extension in my Chrome browser. So if I click on my extensions, I can go here to Colorzilla, and I want the color picker panel, and I can move my colors through several different colors here and then choose a custom color, like maybe that blue one. Notice at the bottom here, it shows up as an RGB color. So I can just copy that. So Control C to copy. I'm going to go into a blank cell here in Desmos, and I'm going to do, let's call this C3 is equal to, and I'm just going to paste that color right in. Now, if I click and hold on my style symbol again, that second color shows up as well. Okay, another way that you can get to those RGB colors, I'm going to go to a new tab in my browser, and I'm just going to type in RGB color picker. You can tell that I typed that in earlier. In my Chrome browser, it automatically shows up with a color picker, which is so nice. And we can do any of these colors. Let's do a pink this time. So if I scroll over here, I get to some nice pink options. Maybe I want one a little bit lighter. There's a great pink color. And then you'll notice underneath there, we've got the RGB numbers that we need to put into Desmos. I'm going to highlight that and then do a Control C to copy. If you were on a Mac, you would do a Command C. Okay, back over into Desmos. Let's call this would be C4. So let's call this C4 equals, and then I want RGB parentheses, and then let's do a Control V or Command V to paste. So now I've got 3 custom colors in here. If I again click and hold on that style icon, I've got my pink one in there as well. Now, as you're adding several different colors, it can get pretty messy, but you can put all of these into a colors folder. So I'm going to go up to my plus button here and I'm going to create a colors folder. Saving your colors to a folder and then saving your graph is a great way to be able to use the custom colors that you've chosen over and over again. So let's go up to the add item. I'm going to click the plus button and I want to add a folder and I'm going to call this custom colors. And I can drag each of those colors into my folder. So to do that, I am just going to click and hold on the gray sidebar here. So let's drag color 4 in. I'm looking for a vertical bar to line up underneath that arrow. So you can see it lining up right there. So there's C4. Let's put C3 in here as well. And let's put C2 in here as well. I want to save this as custom colors, so I'm going to get rid of that circle. Let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to go save, and I'm just going to call this Angie's Colors. Save. Stick around, I'm going to show you a freebie of some really great custom colors so you don't have to go and find them. I'll give that to you at the end. Now there's another way that you can put your colors together. Let's go ahead and collapse this folder and let's look at HSV colors. So I'm just going to say that, let's just do C, what are we on, like 5 is equal to HSV. And I'm going to do the same thing as we're exploring. I'm going to give ourselves some sliders. H for hue, comma, S for saturation, comma, and V for value. And I do want to add sliders for all of those. So again, Desmos is smarter than we are. It knows that we are prompting it for color values, and we've got our hue here, which just goes through all of those different colors. The saturation is this one, and then the value just runs through all of those different colors as well. I'm not great at these, so I do use a color wheel to get a better idea of what to use for my HSV values. So going over to my color wheel here, you can see that at 0, so the 0 to 360, 0 gives me a red color, and I can go ahead and change that saturation of the red and the value of the red to get the red that you see there on my color wheel. Now as I move around the color wheel and I change this instead to say a 30, let me just click on that and change that to a 30, it changes it to the orange. If I switch instead to a 90, I'm at the green, so you can see me just moving around this color wheel. Let's skip ahead to 240 and we get that blue. So you can also get to those color values that way. You can also get them, I was already in that RGB color picker, and I don't know if you noticed, but it also gave me the HSV values. Notice how it's given it to you as a degree as we're moving around that color wheel, a percentage, so that 39% would be a 0.39 and the 99% would be a 0.99. Now I promised you a freebie, and that's going to be some great custom colors. Let me click on my graphs here. The one that I am sharing with you is this custom color right here, and you can use it to start any of your projects. If I open this, I've got some of those great colors that Desmos's original color palette is missing. Once you've got this, go ahead and just duplicate it, and then you are ready to start using it. You might also want to save it to your own folders. I'd love to know how you use colors in Desmos. I'll see you for the next video.